Welcome to the Communication Diva Podcast, episode 93. Today on the podcast, the Communication Diva interviews medical esthetician Leah Vanway. Leah's approach to her work is that healthy skin derives from a combination of her educating her clients and effectively treating them with products that really work. It sounds like a pretty ethical business model to me. So, would that make Leah an ethical medical esthetician or a medical ethicistician clinician? And what do you mean exfoliants are only supposed to go on the outside?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Communication Diva Podcast, episode 93. And before we get to my lovely guest this morning, I just want to let you know about a couple of things that are going on. If you are in the Surrey, BC area, on October 19th, 2014, I'm going to be at the Surrey Skills Share Fair. That's the Surrey Skills Share Fair. I think you can go to surreyskillsshare.ca, something like that, and find it. I'm going to be doing a question and answer period about podcasting, and I'm also going to be offering a short workshop on public speaking. So if you're in the area and you listen to this podcast, I'd love for you to come and say hello, come up to my booth and say hi. It's at the Surrey Nature Park. I don't even know where that is yet, but I'll find out and I'll post that somewhere, maybe on Facebook or Twitter. But if you're around, I'd love you to come and say hello. That's one thing that's going on. Another thing is, in the near future, I'm going to be revamping my website, changing it up a bit, and getting it reorganized to match the book that I'm writing that's coming out in spring of 2015. So that is going to be happening in the near future. If you are interested in sharing your story through podcasting, check out the resource page or the button along the side of the website for Libsyn. Libsyn is the podcast hosting platform that I use. It's an amazing service, wonderful people that work there. I've met a couple of them, at least virtually and over the phone, and had long conversations with them. And I think it's a great service. If you are interested in sharing your stories via the wonderful medium of podcasting, you can get a discount using the promo code there if you're interested. All sorts of other things going on, but I will turn you over right now to Leah to talk about how she communicates with her clients to help them feel the very best that they can feel. So here is Leah Vanway. Hi, everyone. This is Jen Swanson, and welcome to the Communication Diva Podcast, episode 93. And we are in the home studio today, and I am wanting to welcome Leah Vanway. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And so, Leah, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your story and maybe how you came to be doing what it is you're doing?
It's a very long story. I'll try to keep it short. So I am a medical esthetician, so a skincare therapist, and I have a little medi studio that I run out of my home in the beautiful White Rock, British Columbia. And I focus on skincare treatments. So I mainly do cosmetic treatments with a medical flair to it. So I do microdermabrasion treatments, skin needling, cold laser therapy, just a lot of healthy treatments for the skin to really repair it and feed the skin and nourish it. So I got into the industry 9 years ago now. I'm just going into my 10th year, and I had cystic acne for 10 years, all the way through my teenage years and into my 20s, and it was super frustrating. And I just thought, there has to be a better answer. I wanted to learn more about why my skin was behaving the way it was. Was it bacteria? Was it a fungus? Was it a food intolerance? And I just started picking up books and attending classes, and I was just like a sponge, and I wanted to learn more, and it was exciting. And I registered for the aesthetic program at Blanche Macdonald in Vancouver, and I graduated at the top of my class, and I just went away with it, and I opened up my own studio right out of school, and I've been building my clientele and focusing now more into the medical side because the results are very quick, and I find that the client satisfaction is very high. So
Great. So I just want to go back a little bit. What is cystic acne?
cystic acne is a condition of inflammatory in the sebaceous gland. So for people who have overactive sebaceous glands, so excessive amounts of oil with inflammation, it can be bacterial. It's usually hormones that are the cause. Sometimes there can be an inflammatory response from food intolerances, which is why now I have more of a holistic approach, and I work very closely with some naturopaths in the White Rock area, because when I see clients come in and I see that inflammation in the skin, I just automatically want to send them and say, first thing, let's get your foods tested, and then we can cut out those foods and hopefully get the inflammation down in the skin. And then if it's in the hormonal region, which is along the bottom of the jaw and the chin area, then we can get their hormones tested as well, because otherwise they can just try endless amounts of topical treatments and not have any success. So hormones.
And so medical, I've never heard of medical estheticians before. So you're doing things that are less aesthetic. No, that's not right. But
less invasive.
Less invasive
than a surgical procedure. Okay. So medical estheticians kind of branch from the medical field to the aesthetic field. So it's a really exciting industry to be in, because you have all of the knowledge of the aesthetic field. So you have, an understanding of the waxing and the hair growth and body wraps and the relaxation of RMT therapy and facials and how proper topicals can actually affect the skin. Then you go into the more medical side where you have advanced training. So if you want to learn about, IPLs and photofacials and dermal rolling and collagen induction therapy, those are treatments that bridge the gap between, just having a regular, what I say, fluffy facial, where you feel good and you're relaxed, versus, you go under the knife and you have a facelift. There's a very drastic change. So the Medi treatments help to maintain your results as well as be preventative. So if you have something simple that's maybe closer to some acne scarring or some pigmentation, when you do the more medical treatments, you have quicker results. And then your topical treatments, they just last so much longer. So you can be a lot more preventative instead of waiting 20, 30, 40 years and then having a facelift or having something that's a lot more aggressive.
It sounds painful.
It's not painful. Some of them could be, I suppose, under the wrong hands. So unfortunately in BC, this is a lot of information that I communicate to my clients, is there's no regulatory board that says you have to be a doctor or you have to have medical training to do these treatments.
Really?
So there's a lot of shops that just, I say they're like little, Starbucks coffee shops that just pop up on every corner now, because there's a lot of immigrants that come into Canada and they can just open up a shop and start working, which is great for their family, but not necessarily great for my clients that I have, because they maybe don't have the health standards that should be there with, cleaning their implements or disposables or one-time use. And then there's infection that can go around. There's trauma to the nail plates, or you could have somebody that's maybe an interior designer that wants to get into facials and buys, a $200,000 laser off eBay. They have no training in skin and they just start working on their friends and family, and before you know it, they've burned somebody's skin permanently and their business is closed down.
But there's no regulation.
Not in Canada, no.
Wow.
Or BC for sure anyways.
That's a little scary to hear.
It's very scary, which is why it's important that you really research where you're going, because I've seen it time and time again, especially with the Groupons right now. If you can get a $500 laser treatment for, $139 or $99, there's a reason that price is there. And it's either, maybe they're going out of business or they're new into business, or they can't sustain their business. So they're just driving the price down, and their staff turnover rate could be like a restaurant, where they just can't keep good staff, and then they're not getting the proper training for their staff because it's turning over so quickly. And, one setting error can permanently damage somebody for life.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It's pretty scary. So it's important that...
So how do people research that?
Oh, they can call the salons. They can go in for the salons. What I suggest when I have new clients come in, I book everybody for a 1-hour complimentary consultation before I ever do any procedures on them. One of my biggest pet peeves is places that don't do consultations, or they do consultations, you fill out the form and they never read it, or they never go through it with you. I sometimes will just kind of test the local market, and I'll go in, book in for a service. And if I don't fill out a form, I'll actually turn around and walk out the door. I'll tell them, that I'm canceling my appointment. Or if I fill out the form and then I get to the back and they never go through the form, I'll still leave, or I'll just take the note and, and kind of depends on what the service is. But it's a good learning curve for me because then I know how important it is that people don't understand. And sometimes I feel like I'm, an encyclopedia or a dictionary where I just have verbal diarrhea with all this information. But majority of my clients love it. And they say, wow, I never knew that, or that's so great to know. And then they can go and share that wealth with other people as well. So just do your research, look for their certificates on the board. Is it from 2004? Is it active, or do they need to continue? And ask them, how you clean your tools, because a lot of places don't clean their tools properly, and that's how fungus and bacteria and infections are spread. So just do your research, go on their websites. I mean, social media is so easily connected right now that, you can look at reviews, go on to Yelp and look at the Google accounts and look on their Facebook accounts and see if people are leaving positive or negative reviews. And you could always call Health Canada as well. That's one of my biggest connections. I have the highest rating with Health Canada for my cleanliness. Call the company and see if they've ever come in and they've had an inspection and they failed on the inspection. Maybe their products, their sterilization products are expired, or maybe they don't have any and the bottle's empty. So definitely give Health Canada a call and do a little bit of background research. And if you're going for a more medical treatment, if you're looking for an IPL or
what
Fraxel,
is IPL? Just in case.
It's intense pulse light therapy. So it's a photofacial. So it treats fine lines, pigmentation. Its job is to go after pigment. So people that have rosacea, where they have a lot of redness and flushing in the skin, or people that have pigmentary disorders, it's attracted to the melanin. But again, one slight setting error can permanently damage somebody for life. You can either remove the pigment, where they will then have white spots on the face, or you can make it darker, where then you have hyperpigmentation. And one of the biggest things to tell people is that if you're in the sun for a holiday, or you've used a tanning bed and you go in for your first treatment and then, you forget, and then you go in for your next treatment, they say, have you been in the sun? No, because that was, 3 weeks ago. They turn up the setting to be more aggressive, and now they've burned you because you have darker skin, you have a higher target, and just be careful with that. But do your research, just ask questions.
It sounds like you do a lot of teaching of your clients.
I do. A lot of educating, but that's a lot of where my passion comes from, because I had so many unanswered questions when I was going through my cystic acne. And then even once I got the hormonal side cleared up, then it was, food intolerances, and this goes way back, but my general practitioner doctor, she used to tell me, go into the tanning beds because it'll help kill any light or heat sensitive bacteria, which made sense. And even just from the depressed state of when you have that acne, it's there every day. It never leaves you. It's like a little shadow, and you do get depressed. So I found that the light therapy of the tanning beds also helped with the depression. But, flash forward 15, 20 years, now I have, premature wrinkles. I have premature photo damage because I spent so much time in the tanning beds. Now they've really worked hard on the regulations of having the tanning beds, and, you have to be 18 or older, or some states you have to be 16, and you have to have parental consent that's actually signed by both parties. So they're actually improving that a lot, because people were getting addicted to the tan, and they would just shop, maybe in White Rock one day and then Vancouver, or sometimes people will go into the tanning bed twice in one day, and the cancer rates just soared, and they're starting to backpedal now. But hopefully they'll take tanning beds off the market one day, and we won't have to worry about this. But just consumer awareness and educating people. As I find there's new trends coming out now, if you don't have somebody in your corner who can give you an unbiased opinion, you just get kind of swallowed by the salespeople and the new trendsetters. And it's important to educate people, because it's like the computer world. Everything is always evolving. There's new ingredients, there's new technologies, and you have to be able to filter through what works. Some people just want your money, and they'll treat you every time you come in, regardless if you need the treatment or not. And some people just don't have the passion for it.
So it sounds like a lot of what you do has to do with integrity.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to go back to the part about depression and people being up. I assume they come to you because they feel that something is wrong with them. They're not happy with how they look, or whatever it is that's going on for them. And I know that it's hard, especially in North America, for women with the, feminine image that's out there, and how we're supposed to all look, which, is actually airbrushing, and, is quite fake in many ways. Yeah. But what are you finding with your clients who are coming in? Are they unhappy with themselves? Does it go deeper than skin?
I find there is a big connection between self-esteem and what they see on the outside. And the clients that I am attracting now, they're all coming through referrals now. So before it was, more social media, more my website. It's coming through the connection that I have with my current clients now. So when they come in, they're coming in because they have a skin condition. So they either have, one of the grades of acne, or they have pigment or rosacea. So they're people that are coming in that are already aware that they have something that's, maybe not aesthetically pleasing to the eye. When they come in and then we start talking about different issues in the consultation form, then it's like this whole world opens up that they had no idea that, the bagel that they had for breakfast with, the cream cheese on it, that could be triggering an inflammatory response in the skin, or the glass of wine that they had in the hot tub the night before. When you've got rosacea, you can't be doing those triggers on a daily basis. So there's definitely a connection there in the education. But going back to what you said about, are they depressed and what's that connection? I absolutely feel that social media now and the news and the movies, it's so hard. It's like you have to be on all the time. You have to have your makeup on all the time and have your hair done and have the great outfits. And yes, it's fun to be a female because you get to play all the time, but there has to be a point where you sit down and you say, are you happy inside? Is this who you want to be? Is this who you're portraying to your family members and your kids? And especially when you're in the community. I had a client that came in a couple months ago, and she was a referral from a client, a good client of mine. And she came in and she had acne, and I could visibly see that. And she came in and she had, I think, an 18-month-old daughter with her. And I said, what can I help you with today? And she says, oh, well, I just wanted to come in and have a consultation. And I said, okay. And I said, what can I help you with? And she says, well, I'm not really sure. And I said, okay, like I can see why she came in. So I passed her a mirror and I said, look in the mirror and tell me what you like or what you don't like. And she just started crying and it just broke my heart. And she says, I love my daughter, but ever since my pregnancy, my hormones have been everywhere and my skin's just breaking out nonstop and I don't know what to do about it. And I was so touched because I've been there, because I live my life in a mirror, because I always had those acneic breakouts. And I just thought, I've been there. I understand. I can help you. And so a lot of it is just stemmed from not necessarily depression, but from a saddened state. Maybe somebody made a smart remark and it stuck with them. Maybe, oh, you've got raccoon eyes, or, is that supposed to be puffy, or is that supposed to be red? Maybe try your makeup or change it. And a lot of times people say stuff in lieu and they don't mean to be hurtful, but it sticks with people when they're aware of something that's already an issue. So I find people are just very comfortable with me. And I have added some videos onto my website now. So I find that there's a shift in the clients that I'm attracting, because they actually get to see that, I might have beautiful skin now, but it's taken me a long road to get here. And I'm always trying new products. I always want the best available and new technologies on the market. I'm like a walking model of what I'm doing. So when my client comes in and says, hey, what do you think of this needling system? I say, yeah, you know what? I've personally tried it for so many months. This is my experience. I've been through it, and I can offer advice that way instead of just saying, oh, I saw it on TV on Dr. Oz and should be good.
Yeah, so you've tried everything that you do.
Everything that I bring into my space, whether it be a technology or a product, I try everything on my skin for probably 1 to 2 months before I ever bring it in or launch it.
Okay. So, and it's not just about the outside, right? It's also about some of the things that you do for your body on the inside. And do you counsel people around that? You talked about being a therapist.
I feel that I play the role of a therapist sometimes. Okay. I mean, I don't have therapist training, but I definitely feel like sometimes I am a therapist.
Kind of like a hairdresser, right?
Absolutely, like a hairdresser or a nail technician. People just open up when they're in my space. So, whether it be skin or family or weddings or stuff that they experience, I feel like I become part of their life because they do share this information with me. But I definitely take, like I said, a holistic approach. So I kind of take everything that they say to me and I create a program that's customized for every single person. So it's not like I'm not a one-stop shop where everybody gets the same treatments. And every time the clients come in, they might have a different treatment or a different protocol every time they come in. So I definitely take that approach. But like you said, it's from the inside out. I mean, when I go through my consultation form, I look at your sleep patterns. You know, are you having problems falling asleep, or is it staying asleep? Is it menopause? Is it hormones? Maybe, like I said, food intolerances lays really close to me because that was a big effect on my acne. So I have a really good understanding of that. And I always say to people, you know, if you're high in dairy or high in wheat, and also the locations on the face, you know, is your acne just on your forehead? Is it just on the tip of your nose? I mean, I always look at the whole body approach, because there's actually a technique that you can Google, and it's called face mapping. And it will show you on the face, it's like reflexology on the foot. If your breakouts or your pigment is on your face or your cheek, you know, is it the liver? Is it the large intestine? Is it the heart? So you can actually look at this face map and see, oh yeah, you know, I break out all the time in my chin area. And then you can look that it's, you know, your ovaries or your sex organs. So that's actually a really interesting thing to look up.
That would be. I'm going to look that up. There's a lot of chemical stuff out there, and there are a lot of powerful marketing agents that you know, it's a real, you know, I walk into a drugstore and I'm lost because there is so much. And yet, you know, I've been through, you know, 15 different kinds of, you know, home sales stuff and salon stuff, and it's confusing and mystifying to me. Overwhelming. And so how does a person navigate this if they are not in the know?
I always tell my clients and my friends, avoid OTC, which is over-the-counter products. If you have the most perfect skin and you have great genetics behind you, sometimes it doesn't really matter what you put on your skin. The genetics are there and you'll stay healthy skin. If you feel that you have a skin condition, whether it be acne or rosacea or fine lines and wrinkles, when you put over-the-counter products on your skin, they are what I say quantity over quality. So they have lots of fillers, they have lots of added perfumes. So when you're somebody who has what they say a sensitive skin, I say, is it more of a reactive skin than a sensitive skin? Because there's so much perfume in the products now, because everybody wants the packaging to look good, they want it to smell good, that they're adding these additives in there to be attracting, you know, to your smell. Or, you know, maybe there's a triple glass packaging with fancy silver writing. You know, is that going to help your skin? No, but it's going to look pretty when you buy it, and it's going to look nice on your shelf. But if it's not helping your skin and it's not treating and feeding, you're just kind of wasting money. So it's important to have the aesthetic industry, because you can actually go to a salon or a medi spa and have that person in your Rolodex or on your speed dial that says, hey, you know, I don't know what to use today, or I'm going skiing, you know, so I've been on the same product all summer and now the air is changing. What should I use now? And you can actually have somebody in your corner that's going to say, great, you know, let's put some lipids on the skin, because the dry air is going to pull moisture from your skin. When you go into an over-the-counter, like a drug mart, they're going to sell you whatever's on promotion for that week. So, you know, the man upstairs says, let's put on Section A on sale, and it's going to be 50% off for today only. The staff comes in, they find out what the SKU is, and when people come in, they sell that SKU because that's what, you know, the man upstairs wants to clear out. Maybe they've got new inventory coming out. Or the other thing too is that they don't have to be estheticians that are working there. Some makeup artists might work in the makeup section, but they don't have the ingredient training. They don't understand what topicals do on the skin. So it's nothing against them. They maybe just don't know. So when somebody comes in and they say, oh, you know, I want to work on wrinkles, they'll say, hey, you know, this product's great right now. There's great advertising. It's on sale. You get a gift with purchase set. You know, it's $150 savings. Well, where is that $150 coming from? It's coming from the quality of the products. They're taking out a lot of the benefits to put in the preservatives. So,
because I might be a person, I don't like the over packaging from an environmental standpoint. So I don't want a fancy package. I don't want something I can't recycle. I don't want parabens in my products. I don't want extra perfumes. I'm super picky about the stuff because I feel like I have sensitive skin, and I also don't want stuff animal tested. Like I have this big long list, which makes it really hard to shop, you know. So I try to go to the health food store and get stuff there.
And lots of sales employees wouldn't even know that kind of information.
Right.
And I mean, there's a few, I would say probably a handful of really big players that own all of the products in the drugstores. So let's just say you had Estee Lauder or L'Oreal, they might own 30 of the lines that are in the stores.
Right.
So it's like,
How do you know?
how do you know which line to go with? And
Right.
I mean, like I said, if you have good normal skin, you can use those products because you're not going to have an adverse reaction. But when you have something that you're physically trying to treat, the concentration levels just aren't strong enough. And the reason for that is because if, let's say you wanted to go on a vitamin C therapy or glycolic acid for your pigmentation, if the percentage was too high, the general public could come in and cause an adverse reaction. Let's just say it says to use 1 pump at night. Well, if 1 pump is good, 2 pumps might be better. And if it's just at night, maybe morning and night would be better, and it's going to clear up even faster. And if the concentration levels are too high, you're actually going to have the reverse effect, and you're going to start prematurely aging your skin, and you might start peeling your skin, and then you're going to get red and inflamed, and you don't have that person. What you're going to do is you're going to look for your receipt, you're going to take it back, and you're going to get the next one. When you go to professional, they can say, look, I'm specifically writing this down. Like I have a prescription pad that I write down all my clients. This is what you use in the mornings. This is what you use in the PM. I want you to tape it to your mirror. And if you have any questions, you call me or text me or email me, and I will be there and I will explain it to you again, why you're doing this. And if you add on another treatment program, maybe 6 months down the road, and you say, oh, this looks like the same step as this other product I was using. Do you use all of them together? Maybe not. So then to be able to call somebody and say, hey, you're my expert. Am I supposed to use this together? Maybe they're not supposed to be used together, and they create a chemical reaction if you use them together. But if you just over the counter, you buy vitamin C 1 month, and the next month you go and you buy an acid and you use them together, you could have an adverse reaction that you wouldn't even know about.
Right. That's why it's so confusing.
It's very confusing.
And a little scary too.
It's a lot scary.
Because the skin is your largest organ in the body.
It is.
And it does absorb things into your system, and it can affect your other organs, can't it?
It absolutely can. Especially now, I find everybody's on, the wake up side of things. They wake up and they have coffee, they have espresso, they have those energy drinks. People aren't drinking pure water anymore. The industry is just taken off with Gatorades and Powerades, and add this powder to your water and add this liquid and make it better and stay awake longer. It's like, what happened to just tap water or purified water or whatever type of pure water you drink? People aren't drinking that anymore. So you're getting preservatives, you're getting color additives. When you're drinking them on a regular basis, you're knocking down the immunity in your body. So when it comes to the skin, I always say if there's something going on the outside of your skin, it's a symptom of something going on inside your skin. So whether it's eczema or psoriasis, you have patches, that's your body screaming, say, you weren't listening the first couple times I told you, and now I'm going to show you, and you have to notice. So absolutely. I mean, like the biggest advice I always give to my clients is drink water. If you're going to, indulge in coffee or caffeinated teas or alcohol, I always have a ratio that it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So if you're going to have a glass of wine, have 2 glasses of water, and at least you'll balance it out. You won't replenish, but you'll normalize and balance out the skin.
So that's a great piece of advice. What other things would you tell the listener?
Wear sunscreen. Sunscreen is probably the number one anti-aging product that you can use, and you can get it anywhere. Again, I don't suggest going over the counter because, again, you're going to have a lot of the fillers and preservatives in there that you might react to or get bumps from. But sunblock will actually save your skin. And when you look at it in the fact that your skin is an organ and you're protecting your body, I mean, melanoma is on the rise, and 1 in 6 people will get skin cancer this year. So, I mean, you really have to start being more aware of what you're putting on your body, what you're putting in your body, and just reapply. I mean, a lot of people, even if they're pro sunscreen wearers, they might not know that sunscreen only lasts 2 to 4 hours. So if you put it on at 7:30 in the morning, you rush the kids to school, and then you go to work, you come home from work and you stop on the patio for a drink on the way home with your friends, 8 hours later, that sunscreen is not effective anymore. So anytime that you're driving or sitting on a patio and that sun is hitting your skin, you're getting UV damage. And
that's hard if you have your makeup on.
It is. That's where mineral makeup comes into effect, because mineral makeup is a built-in SPF. Right. So if you don't want to wear, like a topical sunblock, mineral makeup is a really good way to go. Again, you have to be careful with the over-the-counter, because you can have 1% or less of one mineral component and market it as a mineral makeup. So you're putting fillers and preservatives on your face that they market as a mineral makeup. But when you go to the professional lines like Glow Minerals or Jane Iredale, which is the line that I use, it's called the skincare makeup, it's pure cold press minerals. So it actually sits on your skin like little mirrors and it will reflect the light. So instead of absorbing the light like a sunblock would, this actually reflects light away. And that you can reapply at the beach, you can reapply it after work. That's a really good alternative for people too.
Yeah, I've had some mineral makeup, not from over the counter, and I really like it. I found it's great stuff. That's great. So I just want to say before I ask you where people can find you that you look fantastic all the time.
Thank
you guys have to come over to the website and take a look at Leah because, the story of how it was before, it's startlingly not like that.
It's not.
And so you are a walking testament. That's a good thing.
Yes. I take pride in that because it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Education is key.
There you go. So where can people find you?
People can find me or visit me on my website, which is www.essenceofl.com. I also have a Facebook page, which is Facebook.com/EOL Medispa.com. And then also on Twitter, which is twitter.com/EOL Medispa as well. And I'm also on Pinterest.
Okay, so all sorts of places that people can connect with you. Do you have one last word of advice for the listeners out there?
Look after your body. You've only got one of them and you only live once. So if you're going to play hard, look after your body.
Thank you, Leah, for coming in today. That's great. Been a great conversation.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
So thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you got some valuable information from that episode. And if you're not in the area and are unable to visit the spa that Leah has in person, you might sign up for her e-newsletter and get some beauty tips and some information on some of the products that she has, even if you're very far away, because I'm sure that some of her information will be helpful to you no matter where you happen to live. I'm sitting here with my little puppy who's just over 4 months old, our service dog Bandit, and Scott went out and bought him a doggy couch. It's the only way to describe it, but a dog bed, because we have hard floors, and he's a creature of comfort. And it's pretty funny because he's sitting here down in the podcast studio on his little mini couch, and I might even post that picture over on Facebook, so you can go and check out my four-legged hairy little baby and lying about on his couch while I work in the office here. So fun and games. Next time I am bringing you Brenda Brown. Brenda is a person who works with people through horses, and it's quite an amazing thing that Brenda does. And so stay tuned for that. I'll be bringing you that in the next episode. And until then, happy communicating. I hope that you are learning something from being on the site. If you are interested in working with me one-to-one, you can come on over to the coaching page and check that out. I would love to have a chat with you, a complimentary conversation, and then see if I can help you out with something you might be struggling with. So check that out over on the Communication Diva coaching page as well. All right, take care, God bless, and we'll talk soon.